Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos is your home. No filters, no mask, just raw, bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Picture this. The crowd is buzzing, the commentators are confused, and standing in the ring is a man who spent a decade telling kids to say their prayers and take their vitamins. Then, with one leg drop, heard around the world, everything changes. Welcome to the rise of the New World Order. Tonight on Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, we're diving headfirst into the faction that didn't just shake professional wrestling, it rewrote the rules. From the shocking betrayal of World Championship Wrestling to the Hollywood Hogan transformation to the invasion-style chaos brought by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. It wasn't just a storyline. This was a cultural shift. We're talking backstage politics, Monday Night War shockwaves, and the moment wrestling blurred the line between fiction and reality like never before. Love them or hate them, the black and white takeover changed the business forever. So throw up the hand sign, adjust your sunglasses, and ask yourself one question. Are you NWO for life? Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, everybody. I am one half of the greatest mixed tag team in podcasting, the legend J-Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And as you can see, we've got a full panel with us today. We've got both members of Grappeling Inc., Brox Boulder and Titan Troy.
That's right. What's up, boys? What's up?
Hello.
As a matter of fact, this is Titan Troy's first appearance on Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. So welcome, sir. Glad to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Where's your mohawk at, brother? I know your hair girl's sitting 3 feet away from you. I know she is. I can smell her.
That's about 2 feet.
Exactly. It ain't too far away. You just get on TikTok. You know she ain't very far away from you. Go watch our TikToks. You'll know she in the creeping somewhere like that. She trying to find out what I got Titan Troy in.
And making his third appearance on the show. If you was just watching an hour ago, you will know Mr. Professor Bear.
Hello.
Hall of Famer, baby.
There you go.
Stop it.
Shucks.
Oh man, don't mention it. It's nothing.
You got to give it to him. Gosh. Gosh.
Well, you know what? Let me say something real quick, Legend and Uncle Slam, just for a second. Excuse me. Let me just say something to Bear here. Earlier, I heard Bear talk about this game that we have at WSN called what's it called? You're the champion. You tell me, what's it called again, Bear?
WrestleBrania.
Thank you. And you and Sam, you the champs, right? You and Bear and Sam, they the champ. That kind of has a little rhyme to it. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, I'm breaking the news to you, buddy. Call me Jim Cornette because I'm breaking into the business with the best, newest tag team that's going to take your butts down. I'm not telling you who, I'm not telling you when, but you guys are going down. Let me give you even more advice or more knowledge here. It ain't going to be me. I'm just going to be in the shadows managing them boys. And Troy, I think you know who I'm bringing on. Them boys from Kentucky, I'm telling you, they're going to bring the heat, Bear. And you and Sam are going down. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Don't leave when you get beat. Don't leave when you get beat. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm just saying, don't
all
leave.
I'm gonna say is this. All I'm gonna say is this. The last time someone challenged me and my partner to that, they rage quit. Never been seen again.
That was Timu Brox Boulder. This the real deal, bro. You getting a real deal. I'm telling you right now.
I love challenges. I love challenges, and to be able to show my skill. No, not my skill. Professor and the SAMP skill. We're ready for any challenge, and we're not afraid to take on anyone. Matter of fact, it's funny that you say that because I've just reached out to two legends also and challenged them to come on and get their butts handed to them. I'm talking about Mosh and Thrash, the headbangers.
Oh,
Well,
So I reached out to them and hey, I didn't want to scare them, but I'll come on to our show. We're fans. Come on. So hey, it don't matter. Bring
listen,
whoever you
He
got.
said it don't matter.
nothing but respect to you and Sam. Listen, y'all the champs. Y'all the champs. But these boys,
Look,
these
I
boys
would
coming out
say
left
this.
field. I'm telling you.
I will say this. The legendary Jim Cornette could come on the show and I would have him crying. So
I want to
Mr.
know when the
Cornette.
episode goes down because I want to watch this. Yeah, I
Listen,
mean, y'all
okay.
definitely got to let us
We
know.
got 6 people watching right now. I need you 6 people to start hashtagging Jim Cornette, the Cornette drive-through,
Listen.
all that stuff. Start tagging everything. We need Jim
We got
Cornette
Bobby
to
Blaze
hear
on the
this.
text, baby. He'll hit up Jim Cornette right now. I know.
Well, there
I
you go.
know.
Let's get this
Let's
rolling.
do
We'll do it right here on Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. We'll do it courtesy of the Wrestling Society Network.
We can link this all together.
Yes,
and make it-
yes.
There you go.
yes,
We will
no
make it
problem.
one big event.
Yes.
Why you want so many people to see you get beat like that, Bear?
Oh,
Why you gotta be like that?
All,
what I
all
like.
I will say is just like the last victim.
Timu Brox Boulder, I know.
Again, I don't sing it. I bring it. So
Well, listen, I'm gonna bring it on both sides. I'm gonna pack one on each one of my broad shoulders. I'm gonna bring them in, set them down. They're gonna take the belts, and we walking home, baby. I'm just telling you. And
Well-
listen, I'm saying this to a freaking legend. I know what this man does. I know what Sam Scott. I know. I've watched it. I'm a part of WSN. I've watched all of them. I know what's up, and I know what Mikey V is about with them questions too. I'm challenging legends. I'm not challenging green kids or these new kids on the block. I'm challenging legends, Hall of Famers. I get it. And I'm still confident saying my boys, man, they coming in with that heat.
now look, the only person that I will give credit to is Julian Hall. She slapped me upside my head and I took it like a champ. But no one else will get that opportunity.
Well, if you'll give Jillian credit, then man, you wait till I listen. Oh, I can't wait. I actually, before I even said this, I actually text in the group chat. I don't know if you've seen it yet or Bear. I actually put the challenge in the group chat, and I said, make it so, Prez. So,
Well, guys, y'all have heard it right here. It's an exclusive breaking news on Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. We got a challenge from Brox Boulder to Professor Bear in the what's the name of the game again?
WrestleBrania.
WrestleBrania. You let us know when it's going to happen. We'll be there. We'll help promote it. We'll get this done.
and
Yes,
listen,
sir.
if you,
Yes,
if you
sir.
want to go watch previous episodes, you just log on to the WSN Patreon there and check them out. And I think they're are they on the $1 tier, Bear?
Yes, I believe the
That's what I
first
thought.
one definitely is.
Yeah.
But I think the second one we put on the $5 tier.
Okay, money well spent, guys. There's such good shows, and regardless, all joking aside, regardless of what this outcome is, it's going to be a fun show, and that's what we do at WSN. We're excited
Yes,
about it.
sir.
So
Yes,
really
sir.
good. And I'm
Same.
going to go one more thing, Jay, and then I'll let you get into your DNWO
Do
thing.
your thing. Do
I
your
watched your
thing.
last show. I watched you guys. I watched your last show. I love the list that you all done at the beginning of the show there. I think you first done the top 10 factions
Yes.
And then I think you did the top 10 technical wrestlers.
Yeah.
Technical wrestlers. Now I got Troy's interest. I could see the peak right there because that man down there in that corner, that's the best technical wrestler on the independent scene right now, bar none. I don't give a crap who you say it is. It's that guy right there, Titan Troy. He is the grappling god for a reason. I should give up wrestling, going to hype man. I should be Paul Heyman. That's what I should do. That's what I should do.
Well, you know that whenever the in-ring stuff ends, you can at least go out and stand outside that ring.
If Troy wants to continue to carry me on his shoulders like he does now, then that's okay. I'll ride them coattails, baby, all the way to I'll try to ride him till the wheels fall off. He's been carrying me around for this whole time, so I'll continue to ride him. So I want to throw. I don't even want to throw an honorable mention on there. I want this guy in the top 10.
Of which one?
Here we go.
Of the technical wrestlers.
I'm going to not challenge Bear, but I want to put it out here. Bear, I want to throw a technical wrestler on this top 10. This fella, and especially since that one fella was only on there for a year or whatever, and he ranked above Owen Hart and
he didn't even, it wasn't even 2 months.
Exactly. And he ranked in the top 10. I want to give you one that spent more time in WWF than that fella did. And I'll give you the years. He went from October 91 to mid-January 92, so that was more time than what was I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, yep. But this fella spent that much time in the WWF and didn't make that list, and it's a daggone shame because his trainer was on that list. Now that gave it away right there. I just feel like that gave it away right there. Anybody know who I'm talking about?
Not right offhand, but something tells me I'm going to once you say it.
You're going to kick yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I don't know who the trainer is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being like, oh, well, I know once you tell me that.
That's the way I took it too. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm right.
That too. Well, that too.
You ever heard that old saying? You ever heard that old saying where it's like, that's the last place? It was in the last place I looked. Well, no kidding. If it was in the first place you looked, why would you go back? You know.
Well, just remember, wherever you go, there you are.
There you are. You know. No, his trainer was on the list. I can't remember where he ranked, but Dean Malenko was on the list. Some of us. Dean Malenko is not his whole trainer. Dean Malenko was a part of his training.
Somebody that's Dean Malenko trained
in that short run.
Troy, you with me yet? I know you are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Uncle Slam, you got any guesses?
No, I'm trying to think here. I'm like, WWF too, you said.
Mm-hmm.
His whole run was in the WWF.
No, sir. He had other runs. He had some really good runs.
No. I'm saying, but the major run you're basing it off of and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I won't say it was a major run, but he was with the company in that time. Yeah.
It's not like Kurt Hennig.
It's got to be like early 2000s, 2010s.
He already said it was 91
through
92.
Yeah, October 91 through January of 92.
October of 91 to January of 92.
And done TV tapings. He wasn't just like he
wasn't the only thing that keeps, and I know it wasn't him, but I'm gonna say Dean Douglas.
Good guess though. That's a good guess, Bear. Actually, that's impressive.
See, I was going to say somebody like Conan because of where he did that short run is whatever, Max Moon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I'm just going to give it to you guys, and y'all going to kick yourselves in the butt. And again, I corrected myself. Dean Malenko was a part of his training, not his trainer, a part of his training. His actual trainer, the guy that taught this man how to wrestle, is the great Boris Malenko, and I'm talking about Bobby friggin' Blaze. Bobby Blaze had a WWE run from October 91 to early 92. He done a lot of TV tapings.
Yep.
And if you go and watch anything Bobby Blaze done that you can find on the internet, a lot of it's on WCW. He was enhancement talent, as Arn Anderson would say. But everyone I've talked to and all the stuff that I've seen where you actually get to see that guy work, he might be one of the best technical wrestlers I ever watched in my whole life. But the fact that he was in WWE at that time, I was a little insulted. I'm also biased because that's one of my trainers, one of the guys that trained me in Troy. So we're a little biased, obviously. But I feel like if you're going to put that one kid on there after a 2-month run,
Right.
you're leaving out a guy like Bobby Blaze. I'm going to be a little insulted. So I just want to throw that knowledge in there. That's all I care.
Well,
I gotta go back and look at the list.
It wasn't a bad list. It actually was a pretty good list, really.
I think I can.
It was. Hold on a second. I can't
pull it up.
I can't pull it back up, but I will tell you who it is on the list.
It was.
I got you right here. Well, I said
Kurt?
I did my eyes.
I said Kurt.
Kurt Angle, Bryan Danielson, Bret Hart, William Regal, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, AJ Styles, Zack Sabre Jr., Christian, and Owen Hart.
Yep. So that kid should have been out of the top 10. I feel like
Well,
with Bobby. That's just my bias.
Well, even and I agree with you for the simple fact that his run wasn't even 2 months. It was just for the classic. And again, I'm not taking anything away from him because he's actually one of the best technical wrestlers in the world today. But that time, you got to be kidding me. Like you said, Bobby had a longer run, and his technique is so good that it is. Again, I just found it insulting to have on at 10. I really did.
To me, it's like going back to the AWA or to Stampede Wrestling or something like that and saying, oh, well, there's Bret Hart. He's one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, and only looking at that. That's not him yet.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're looking at the upstart. You're not looking at what the finished product was.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good list. I feel like I thought William Regal was in the top 4 or top 5. I feel like he was top 3 in my book.
I do too.
Like Uncle Slam, I was shocked that they actually mentioned Benoit.
Yeah, and I heard Uncle Slam say that, and I agree. Just because of the outside of ring stuff, but yeah.
No, and I get it, but nowadays most people, you can't mention his name. Man.
Yeah. It's taboo to even say his name.
Right. Like it.
Well, it's like, it's like that ridiculous meme that I've seen 400 times about Benoit. What was it? Nobody won the Royal Rumble that year by eliminating the Big Show. And then nobody went on to beat Triple H and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania so-and-so. And, and that's what it was. It's just ridiculous. The fact of the matter is he was there. It's what happened. We don't have to celebrate what he did, but we can acknowledge what he did in the ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your show there, guys. I apologize, but
good.
Bobby. All jokes aside, Bobby Blaze and Jillian both, I thought they're both touted as really great workers. Everybody I've ever spoke to, Buff Bagwell, put Bobby in the same breath as Tracy Smothers, which is a compliment of all compliments.
Oh, Tracy was great.
Right. So Buff Bagwell said on my show a couple years ago that if Bobby and Tracy were in the room, they were the best 2 workers in the room. They were the best 2 guys in the room. So, and then Jillian, what I've always said, is a prisoner of her own time. She could lace them up. When she was training me and Troy a couple years ago, she could lace them up then and go toe to toe with anybody. So I'm biased, and but I really think that Bobby, he was one of the best. I think, that's just who he is and what he was. And I always want to put Bobby over too, just because I like to pop him when he watches these shows. I like to, I like when he comes into training and goes, "Hey, Brox, I appreciate you getting me over there, kid." That's keep Bobby there.
Brock says that, and then tomorrow that check will be in the mail. He gets and everything.
If you think for one daggone second Bobby's paying me for anything, you're crazier than hell. I gotta pay him. What are you talking about? He's my head trainer. I gotta pay him. Worth every penny.
Yeah.
Right. Well, getting into the NWO, before we really get too deep into it, I want to go around and just kind of get everybody's reaction, their initial reaction the first time they saw what was happening at Bash at the Beach. so on and so forth. Just your, the aha moment for you. We'll start off with Professor Bear and just go around, and I'll go last or whatever. But Brock,
right.
go ahead, Professor Bear.
What went through my mind is, oh my God, yes, Bobby's had been right all along. I believed in you, Bobby Heenan. When everybody else talked crap about you, talking about Hogan, I was with you. That was what was going through my head. I was like, about time. Hogan sucks. He needed a change. I was all for it.
Easy enough. Easy as that. Troy.
Well, I didn't get to see that live.
Oh yeah, Troy's 12. I forgot.
Okay. Okay. So
I didn't get to see that stuff. So when the NWO stuff started, it was already.
So we got to keep it barely pre-COVID for you.
Oh wow! Ooh, wow! Yeah, that was worse than what I said, Troy.
Nah, go ahead.
It's. Well, I didn't see it live, but I knew when I went back and watched it that it was something different and something new, because no one expected that at the time. No one knew that Hogan was going to, jump ship or turn. But like looking back at it now, it made not just headlines back then, but it was almost the future of wrestling, because it caused so much down the line. And people still talk about the NWO stuff. They love it. I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uncle Slam.
All right. Now I didn't get to watch it live or whatever. Like, kind of like a lot of people. Like, my first thing I heard was somebody said that Hulk Hogan went bad. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, it's Hulk Hogan, man. He's always been good. I was like, he can never go bad or whatever. And then once I actually watched it, I was kind of like everybody else. I was just like more just shocked, because it really did blur the way wrestling was, like kayfabe, like the whole, the throwing trash into the ring, like they had never done that before. At least I had never seen that besides like an ECW match or anything like that. Like, they were pissed. Like, these people were really, really angry. Like, they were hurt. They were shocked. And I think I kind of was too. I was like, what? I was like, there's no way, like, this is, it just felt like weird. It's kind of like your childhood hero, you know what I'm saying? And he's a villain now. So, like, and I was like a teenager too. So, like, it wasn't like I was like 10 or something, like in the 80s, but like it really kind of messed me up. I was like really shocked. Like I said, Hogan was my hero back in the, the 80s or whatever. And to see him go bad, I was just like blown away. So, like, it was a little traumatizing, I guess, for a young teenager.
Brock.
I thought it was legit. I thought it was real. Like, I thought it was a thing like that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, before Hogan even joined, like, because the story, Hogan wasn't even a part of wasn't even the original plan for the first, part of it. So when the outsiders are there, Kevin Hall and Scott Nash, or Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, I thought it was legit as a fan. Then I was like, my God, these guys were just on WWE or WWF. Like, they're really over there just, screw you guys. We're bringing all you guys to the other place, because I've always been a WWF guy. So I'm like, hell yeah, I was behind it. I loved it. And I thought it was legit. And then the swerve of all swerves. People talk about the heel turn on Cena. That is the best heel turn since Hogan. And Professor Bear, I know how you feel about Hogan, God rest his soul. I will be honest with you. I'm kind of right there with you on Hogan. I kind of thought, he was Hogan. I don't think he's not on a Mount Rushmore that you'll ever hear come out of my mouth. I don't think he was terrible, but the swerve of all swerves that started the swerves for the rest of history, like Troy said, the stair steps it created. It's 2026 in February, and we're talking about it right now. Like Troy said, it was amazing. It is what saved. It's what kept those 83 weeks alive for WCW.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It is what made Eric Bischoff who he is for 83 weeks.
Yeah.
Because had they failed, Eric Bischoff would have been an afterthought.
Yep.
But the fact that he kicked Vince McMahon's rear end for 83 weeks made him the legend he is, and deserving. He had good ideas. I mean, maybe creative control should have been reeled in a little more, but he is who he is, and it done exactly what it meant to do. I thought it was amazing.
I agree. I remember it happened right there in that time. And it's funny because I hear this a lot with a lot of wrestling fans, especially guys. But they have that time where you're young and you become a wrestling fan, and then as all guys do, we hit them teenage years and we discover the finer things in life. And wrestling just doesn't seem to take on as much of a priority anymore because what guy wants to look at a girl in high school and go, "Hey, you want to come watch Survivor Series?"
For the record, that doesn't work, by the way.
No, it doesn't.
I was about to say the same thing.
Troy says me. I did that.
Listen, Troy's dating a worker. Okay, that doesn't count. Like
Right.
your girlfriend,
Yeah,
say, "Hey,
man.
you want to go watch WrestleMania or Royal Rumble?" She's going to do it. You're the exception. Okay, hush up.
He don't even get to ask. She's already got it on.
Take me to watch Royal Rumble or lose me forever. That's her line for him.
Right. If you don't eliminate me in some kind of a Royal Rumble type match to like propose to
family
me.
show. I know this. Y'all
I
told me
thought it was.
I'm talking about as like a proposal or something, a marriage proposal.
Sure.
Eliminate
I
everybody
was
out.
told not to do those.
Everybody calm down. Calm down.
Listen, I'm just going to say this, Troy, and his girl knows Brock's giveth and Brock's taketh away. Just let her know.
It ain't after 11 yet, guys. No, I'm just joking. But no, but like I was saying, I know I've noticed a lot of people get in and out of wrestling, whenever, you go through them teenage years and everything. Well, the Hogan turn happened right there at the time where I really wasn't watching. And I was over at a friend's house and they were watching Bash at the Beach, and I heard it in the living room. Me as a teenager, I was sitting in the kitchen talking to my friends and blah, blah, blah. And I heard, people talking about, oh, well, Kevin Nash. And, I kind of walked by and I looked and I seen somebody referring to Kevin Nash. Well, up until that point, I didn't know his name was Kevin Nash. It was Diesel up until that point. So I'm like, what? Well, hold on. This is WCW. What is he doing? So I kind of started watching a little bit. Next thing I know, Hogan comes out, does the things that he does. And I'm just standing in my friend's mom and dad's living room with my jaw on the ground because I'm like, what is going on? Well, next thing I know, next week I'm watching Monday Nitro. And the week after that, I'm like, well, this match is kind of boring on Nitro, but I remember Raw. I wonder if Raw still comes on. So I flipped it over to USA. Well, that started an addiction of flipping remotes that, I've still kind of suffer from today. No, I'm just joking. But, it started stuff. And like you all said, it started a movement in wrestling that and I was going to touch on what you said, Troy. You have a different perspective than we do because we, grew up with Hogan. We grew up watching wrestling, and whether, fan or like Professor Bear, not a fan, whatever, you still knew what Hogan meant to the business.
Yeah.
And for that to witness that happen, it was like, I remember like, it felt like my gut was like falling out. It was, it was almost like a breakup or something stupid, like that. It was like, what is going on here? Hogan can't be a bad guy, and it never was a thing either to where it ever got to the point to where it was like, I can't stand him. It was always like, okay, well, let's see what Hogan's going to do as a bad guy. And it never was horrible. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best. He was past his prime, but it wasn't horrible either because it was so new.
Well, and let me say this too. Um, when I saw it, and it's something else that sticks out in my mind anytime I hear about hear NWO. I hear Tony Schiavone is saying, and Hulk Hogan, you can kiss my ass.
Yes. Yes.
And that made it even more realistic to the fact
Yes.
like, oh, the announcer is a cussing.
Mhm.
The way they were talking to him and like, what are you doing? You know, you're
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. It wasn't just, and honestly, to play off what you were saying, is I never noticed it when it was going on. And I guess it was because of the shock of everything that was going on. But going back and looking at it, and your comment kind of played to it was, man, Bobby almost gave it up before it ever even happened. Him yelling, "Is that the third man?" You know, that kind of.
And see, and I love hearing that from so many people. They're like, oh, well, Bobby almost gave it up. No, he didn't, because nobody listened to Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody trusted Bobby Heenan and half the stuff he said.
He was being Bobby. He was hating on Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. And that's what I loved about that. Plus, on top of it, just from my family, my father and my brother, they big wrestling fans. So I'm like talking to my older brother, like, man, Hogan turned bad. That's the first time. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. No, he used to be a bad guy around here. No, he didn't. Hogan wouldn't wrestle here. Well, then I got schooled on how Hogan came up. He and how he first wrestled under Sterling Golden, and so many different things. To this day, I know so many facts about Hulk Hogan that when I go to tell people why I don't like him, it's like, no, it's not for him as a wrestler. I said that part of it was I'm in the South. I'm used to wrestling, and you couldn't be a wrestler without being technical. I said, to me, there's no, as much as, no, and no disrespect to this gentleman, but as much as Bruno Sammartino was the linchpin of WWF wrestling in history, to me, you had your Harley Races, your Ric Flair, your Briscoe, your Funks, those, and you had to be a technical wrestler. So when Hogan was around, he always beat everybody with a leg drop. It's like, what? That's it? So that's where my dislike for Hogan came from. It was like, you're not a wrestler. You're a cartoon character.
He was too entertainment wrapped.
Right. I couldn't have put it any better myself.
He also stole my gimmick long before it was my gimmick. That man was Terry Boulder for too daggone long.
I know it. See, you should have played off that, man. You're the grandson of Hulk Hogan, man.
Leg drops and big boots.
There you go, man.
Listen,
I just made your whole time in the ring so much easier. All you got to do is a big boot, a leg drop, and about 3 minutes in, you just start shaking and run over and tag Troy and let him come in. You know,
no
matches. I'm already Robert. Robert. Baby.
Yeah, I'm Richie in that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Look, I got a better gimmick. Y'all y'all need a new tag team finish move. The double legs, little boom, and y'all go to each different side of the ring. Both of y'all drop a leg, drop on.
Our legs are so short. Our legs are so short. We won't get across the neck, though. That's how we are. Both of our legs. We have to use one leg to get across the neck, bro.
That's what makes it so much great. You know, Shawn Michaels had sweet chin music. Dude Love had the sweet shin music.
There you go.
You know, he knew he wasn't getting that leg up. So
no leg drop. It's just knee drop. It's just the leg.
There you go.
Back you knee drop.
Troy does a killer boot. I don't call it a big boot. Troy has the best boot in the business. It's not a
Best
big boot
boot in
at
the
all.
best big boot in the business.
It's a 9.5, and it doesn't get very high. But by God, it's a boot. I'm telling you.
It's a
There you
10.
go. It's a 10 on a good day. You know.
Good day.
So, as far as the NWO goes, what do you all think was the best thing that came from the NWO as far as like not necessarily like what they did for the business, just like maybe my question's not, I'm not wording it right. As far as like not their impact, but what did they mean? I mean, of course, their impact, because we all know what that was. But what did they mean? You were touching on it a little bit earlier about Eric Bischoff and the failing and stuff like that and everything. But what did they mean as far as like just to the not the landscape of wrestling, just to WCW and what it could have been had they not drove it into the ground?
I think it saved them, honestly. I mean, like, if that hadn't happened, I mean, like, they would have been gone. I mean, they would have been shut down a long time ago, I think. I think, like I said, I mean, because WWE was kind of, they wasn't killing them, but they hadn't beat them in a long time. And that's what started it. But it also really made the WWE do better. Like, competition breeds a better product, and that's what we got from it, because the NWO made WWF do better, better storylines, better athletes, better characters and stuff. They moved away from a lot of that cartoon stuff that we were talking about in the 80s and got more real because they had to, because people wasn't buying that shit anymore. You had to go with what people, a different generation. So I think to me, like I said, their impact was more or less like they made they made wrestling better because they made you, like, you had to do better. Like, what I'm saying? You couldn't just stay with like now, like, I don't think there's like a challenge to WWE, like, as far as AEW and TNA. So they've got stagnated. Like, they don't have to, it's kind of like we touched on before. They don't have to put their champions out every week. They don't have to have a good main event or whatever, because they know, like, we are number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is just, 2 or 3 and stuff. So, I mean, that's just my opinion.
I got a hot take.
All right.
I got a hot take, and I agree with you, Uncle Slam. Like I feel like the NWO is directly responsible for the Attitude Era.
Yep.
I've
Really?
always felt like that. Like
Yep.
Uncle Slam said, like, you got to step up your game. And what's Vince McMahon if not the most extreme booker in the business? Like, that's what he's been known for his whole career, right? So the NWO is the most extreme thing. People like me thought it was legit. It's a shoot, man. These guys
I did
are
too. Yeah.
taking that crap over. So what's Vince going to do? Well, Vince is going to create the best, arguably the best era of wrestling. What gave us the biggest superstars in wrestling? Stone Cold, The Rock. Taker was already big, but like Taker really benefited from the Attitude Era as much as anybody else.
DX.
DX, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
man. Like, NWO can be directly responsible for the Attitude Era. It's directly responsible for building and keeping WCW alive, like Uncle Slam said. But like, it is 100% responsible for the Attitude Era. I've always believed that. I was never a WCW fan, but I've always thought, thanks NWO for keeping my company alive and giving me my childhood of wrestling, because that's what it is the Attitude Era, and they're responsible.
I think it also helped build some of their stars because they had like not a foreign menace, but this great power. So they had to have Sting and all these guys come up and almost be the underdogs against this giant conglomeration of superstars, which which people love the underdogs. So when they saw that, they wanted to hit that button and switch over to WCW and see how the underdogs were.
Right. They wanted to see if WCW rised up against the machine, man. Did WCW close out the NWO this week? But like he said, though, man, it's a good point, Troy. Like, WWE guys, you know, you were like, okay, go do your thing on TV, or we'll find somebody else that will do your thing on TV. So it made them step their game up. Vince McMahon created the Attitude Era, and then the Stone Colds, the Rocks, the Takers, the DX. I mean, DX, you know, DX wasn't on the best faction list a while ago, which is a damn shame. DX was created in the Attitude Era, which is crazy to think that they wasn't on that faction thing. But just some of the best wrestling you've ever seen come from NWO and not in the WCW.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Troy said, step up or get out. You know,
and that's what it was, because you know it got so tense right there at that. You know, that was such a volatile time between WCW and WWE, because you know, in the the mid 80s, Vince was stealing everybody's talent from the territories. People say stealing. He wasn't stealing. He was offering people money and they signed a contract. That's not stealing. These people were independent contractors. They made a life choice for their life. He didn't steal anything. He just went and signed them to guaranteed, you know, dates, basically. But then the early 90s came and WCW got the chance to start stealing some people from them. So it you know, it was a silent war for years. And then it just became the forefront that whenever they went Monday Night Raw versus Monday Night Nitro. And it got to the point to where I don't think either show or company, for that matter, would have survived much longer had the status quo been kept. I think that TV was going to get stale. You know, USA was going to get tired of dropping ratings in wrestling. You know, the WCW people Turner people were going to start getting into Ted's ear and saying, look, if you want to keep this wrestling, that's fine, but we got to get them off live TV every Monday night. You know, this money, look at the money, you know, and like, you know, Uncle Slam has said a lot with the WWE. They don't look at it like a wrestling business. They look at it like a business, and all they see is numbers. And when the numbers are in the red, we got to make the numbers get out of that red. So I don't think either company would have lasted long. So the NWO, to Brock's point, breathed new life into and to Troy's point, into the entire business. It wasn't just it was just a pinpoint moment that could have went either way.
And what it did for the last channel button on TV remotes.
Right.
Troy, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but on TV remotes back in the day, there used to be a channel that you could hit last. It would go back to your previous channel. And when you got it on
I had that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say when you got it on, and the channels in my
I didn't have the long remote. That makes you feel. I had the little short.
I got you. That's all right. We all rode it.
The universal remote.
Well, we rode the short bus through, buddy. We're fine. It's not a big deal. So, but we had to short everything. But like we talked about our short legs earlier. It's just our lives, brother. But we like in my channel, it was like channel 26 and channel 16, and that last button every time, you know, commercial, boom, boom. Yep. You know, I'm just hitting it, watching. And no, I'm just kidding about that. But yeah,
if you couldn't find my last button, it was the one that wasn't labeled.
Right.
We're out on Monday night. That's right. And then the funniest thing, going to your buddies' houses, and they're a WCW fan and you're a Monday Night Raw fan. Me and my best friend grew up with Brian Church. We had two TVs in his living room at his house.
Watching both?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And he'd argue that WCW is better, and I'd argue that he was dumb. And you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. You know.
For me, I think that and it goes to what all of y'all have said. It didn't just change the business. It put wrestling in a place that it hadn't been in years. That it was so exciting, dropping, must-see TV that it changed the perception of wrestling. It changed bookings of wrestling. It 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 almost killed old school wrestling because it came into such a point that we were blown away with the generation of the the Vince Russos, where they told us that, okay, we know you're not naive to think they're really wrestling. We're going to give you a Jerry Springer type show. And we got into that. We were all about it. We were all about it. And we had to have that peak because anything in wrestling, wrestling has peaks and valleys. And at that time, we needed that peak to save wrestling. And it was up there. But then afterwards, it started going back down. But what saved us? It wasn't the Monday Night Wars. It was professional wrestling. It helped to get guaranteed contracts. It helped that now you can actually live off of wrestling. You can provide your family a great life off of professional wrestling. You actually had contracts that some of the older guys could never imagine of having. So it changed the business in so many different ways from just that little instance. Because like you said before, Legend, Vince took any territory. He killed the territories. He took all their big stars and brought them in. And WCW had a chance to feel like Vince McMahon without control of one person. And to me, that shows the whole thing where Vince had a creation, was able to make that creation happen. You have Eric Bischoff. He had an ideal and created, but he couldn't do it on his own. He didn't have the backing. He had to have backing. When you have backing, you have a boss to answer to.
Mhm.
Vince was the boss. And that is definitely the difference. And you can see that in today's wrestling. Now, WWE is different because Vince is not there. It's Triple H. Triple H has bosses. He has to answer to them. Tony Khan don't. That's his family money. And he can do so much more the way he wants to. So it's an ebb and flow. But I think the point I'm really trying to make is that moment I look at when Hogan dropped that leg drop, whether you like him, love him, hate him, or whatever, at that point, Hogan helped make wrestling a place where you can live comfortably with your family. Look at all the different wrestlers who do it now and make millions of dollars.
Mhm.
You got to thank Hogan. Because if Hogan wouldn't drop that leg drop, it wouldn't have been the same. If it turned out to be Sting, it wouldn't have had the impact. If it had been Luger, it would not have the impact. And again, I mean, everybody knows how much I don't care for Hogan, but I'm not a fool to not understand what role he played in the business and not have him on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great of wrestling business.
I agree with you because like it's almost like he had two different careers because of the turn. But just like you said, you know, the it wouldn't have been the same had Sting come out there and stinger splash somebody or anything like that.
Yeah.
One, because it was kind of like what Kevin Nash said on Stone Cold's podcast about, after that one night on Nitro, they got on the bus or the plane or something, and people were talking about how we're going to put Vince out of business, blah, blah, blah. And Kevin Nash told him, he was like, no, you're not. He was like, you don't understand what you just did. You just gave them the perception that two guys from up north can come down here and beat up your entire roster with a couple baseball bats. So that, number one, the perception, like, we've all touched on, was that, oh, this is an invasion. Vince sent these people down there.
It's real.
Yes. So the only way that realism stays and works is if it's a WWF guy that is the third man that turns. That's the surprise. And just like, has been reiterated in interviews across the nation endless times, there's no other WWF guy bigger than Hogan. So Hogan and them, that just, it made the storyline again real, believable. It was must see TV. Monday night there. I don't remember another time in wrestling history since I've watched it as a kid when people who didn't watch wrestling knew what was going on in wrestling because of the NWO. Yeah. And then ultimately because of its snowballing into the Monday Night Wars and so on and so forth, so it was a crazy time. It was a great time in wrestling. My favorite time.
I had never had so many people who were non-wrestling fans come up to me and want to talk about wrestling at that time. Every time, oh man, you a wrestling fan, man, you understand this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But
right.
Okay. And so, yeah. And will it ever get to that point again? There's a possibility, but it won't have the impact that had. Again, like I said, everything has ups and downs, flows. Just like right now with Vince Russo helping a part of
JCW.
Their numbers are going up because it has the feel of the Attitude Era, and people are so missing that they're like, oh man, we got to watch this. I've heard so many people like, man, you have to watch this. This is real great creative TV. And it's like, to me, I'm like, well, I'm not saying it is, but if I have a choice of the type of wrestling I watch, I'm a traditionalist. I love traditional wrestling. That's what I will watch. I will 9 times out of 10 watch a traditional show versus Attitude Era. And that's just because of the way I was raised and what I enjoyed. Now, like Brock said, that he was a teenager, so that's his jam. So he may be more drawn to watching J whatever.
JCW.
But that's the thing. It all boils down to what style of wrestling do you enjoy, and you're going to go to if it's whatever you enjoy. If that wrestling promotion is doing close to what you enjoy, you're going to be attracted to them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So let me ask you all this. We all know that the NWO got way overblown. They just way too many members.
They got bloated pretty much, yeah.
Right. Before I ask my question, I'm going to read off all the names of the members of the NWO.
Do we have time for that? That's a long ass list. I mean,
yeah, I think the 5 of us are on that list. If I'm being clear on it.
Rip Van Winkle's going to wake up before I get done with this list.
We only have another hour or so, maybe. I don't know if we have time to read that list off.
Right. I gotta go to work.
And is it just wrestlers, or are we doing refs? Are we doing valets?
I just asked for let's see, a clean master list of wrestlers officially presented as members of the New World Order.
Are we talking about Japan too?
No, I just put wrestler, so I haven't read this list myself yet.
Okay.
So we got Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, but even if there is more, this is enough to make you just be like, why?
Well, I know they had an offshoot of the NWO in Japan where you know, like Sting and like I think Scott Norton and some other people would go over there and vice versa.
Muda and Masahiro Chono and stuff like that. Yeah. So they had Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Big Show, X-Pac, Randy Savage, Buff Bagwell, Scott Norton, Conan, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, Scott Steiner, Sting, Lex Luger, Dusty Rhodes, The Disciple, Horace Hogan, Brian Adams, Stevie Ray, Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Vincent, and the list keeps going. Bueller. So, I mean,
Bueller.
Right, Bueller.
I got to correct you, though. It was 6, not X-Pac.
Right.
It was the Booty Man, not Beefcake.
No, it was the Disciple. He had become the Disciple by then.
No,
he had changed. Because remember, he came out with the big beard.
Yeah.
And started using the stunner as his finisher and stuff and everything.
I remember the pay-per-view brought a big cake out and got beat up.
I love Brutus Beefcake, but I understand now as an adult.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug,
man. And friendship, the right friendship will get you everywhere in life.
Listen, that's why I'm over Troy. Troy's my friend. That's the reason I'm over. I get it. I'm riding coattails.
Troy, at least he admits it, right, Troy? I don't know about all that. So, okay, to get to my question was, how many members and who do you think they should have left it at so that they could have given it maybe a little more longevity like the Horsemen? You know, you didn't have to, you could stop the dominance after a while of, you know, we're just running roughshod over everything. But you could have still kept them as a group. And the reason I asked that is because I heard a theory, and I want to pass this theory along after I hear your all's answers to see what you all think if this theory would have worked as well. So I'll start with you, Professor Bear. How many members do you think they should have kept it at, and who do you think they should have kept it at?
For me, I think once they got they turned Scott Steiner and Bagwell, that should have been the end.
So about Hogan, Hall, Nash,
the Giant,
6,
right?
The Giant, and then Buff, and
so like 6, 7, Troy.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, God.
He does too. That's why I do it every single time I get a chance.
My nephew does it.
It's okay. I banned it in my house.
I do
it just to see Troy get mad as fire. That's the only reason.
I told my daughter, I said no. She started doing it. I just looked at her and said, no, we're not doing that around here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I don't know if you were done.
Yeah.
Okay. Troy, what do you think?
What's your number, Bear? Just to clarify, what is your actual number?
I think it would be like, I want to say 7 or 8.
Okay.
I think that would have been a good number.
I always like the sweet spot for any faction, really, to be 4 or 5. So probably 5 the most. I don't like anything past that. It's too much because you can't keep up track with everybody. It's too much going on. You can't get everyone over. Too much booking. You get so many people going on, and this happened that no one can keep up. always like the good 5 at the most. And I would probably do Hogan, Nash, Hall, Bagwell, and probably Savage.
Okay.
Just because those, everyone else, I never thought fit that aesthetic of what the NWO was. These other guys, I could see them being just obviously the New World Order. Just that they're the new guys that's ready to take on whoever. I always thought that was the good solid 5.
I like how you left it to it mostly WWF guys to keep it looking like that whole takeover thing. And oh, look, we surprised you. We got one of yours too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
Uncle Slam.
I believe less is more. So honestly, like I'm gonna say maybe like kind of like Troy 4 or 5, something like that. Maybe stop with the Giant or maybe Bischoff, something like that. I probably wouldn't even put Buff in there. Honestly, like I said, I think just keeping it to like 4 or 5, like the Horsemen. You make it exclusive. That means only the best of the best. Makes it mean more or whatever. Because if once everybody gets in it, it doesn't mean shit anymore. I mean, like once they start letting everybody in or whatever, I probably wouldn't even done any valets or anything like that. I would have stuck with probably Hogan, Nash, Hall, Giant, and probably Bischoff. And probably left it at that, honestly.
Okay. Brox.
So I'm a less is more guy too. I'm gonna say 5 or 6. 6 is pushing it. Uh, the outs Kevin, Scott, Hogan. I think Buff fits the NWO. If there was a blueprint for being an NWO, Buff Bagwell fit it. His arrogance in the ring was unmatched. I mean, I think he was even better than Hogan in his arrogance and Scott and Kevin. His arrogance in the ring met NWO. So I think Buff needs to be in there. Steiner, his arrogance, his demeanor in the ring met it. So good call on that, Bear too. And so 5 for me. But if there's an honorable mention for a number 5 in this one, it's 6 X-Pac, just because of what he meant to DX, which was down the road, I know, but like just what he brings the edginess to the NWO. And here's where I think they missed the boat. If they did miss the boat on the NWO, you keep it at 5, 6. Bischoff's not a part of it. Now you sell the story even more that this is a WWE or WWF takeover because you've booted out the one guy that is Mr. WCW, right? Like, Hogan was originally a WWF guy. He was Vince's right hand. You got Kevin, you got Scott, and then you've turned the 2 biggest egos in the business against the company that brought them into the business, which is Scott Hall and Beth Bagwell. So you really sell that it's a WWF, WWE takeover at this point by just having those guys and telling Bischoff, kick rocks, kid. Thanks for bringing us. Thanks for paying us all this money. It's our company now, bitch. We're going to do what we want to. And I think if they missed a boat, that's probably the only boat for me that they missed. But again, to the original question, 5, 6 with the 6 being ironically, no pun intended, the 6th guy in that. Yeah, I can't stand the whole big thing. Like, DX had 6 members, but not at one time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Horsemen were 4, and you look at the Freebirds and all these great factions. And the Freebird, I guess you can count Freebirds as a faction. The Freebird rule, was created from that. But it was all less is more. And I'm with Slam. I'm with Troy. Bear. It went overboard. But yeah, that's my thought. But that's the idiotic booker in me too, where I'm just like, man, you know what we could have done? We could have really, let's jump in that DeLorean, hit 88 miles an hour, and let's go back there and fix that.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
See, normally I would agree with you all 100% about the whole less is more thing. The only reason, and I'm not talking about like, as overboard as they went, but I could go about 7 And the reasoning is because it was presented as a takeover, and you're going to need a good number to take over. Now, later on in the storyline, you can have people fall by the wayside and knock it down to 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Through a couple of storylines.
Mhm.
But I think for the takeover part, you needed a bigger number. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily a 10, 15, 5 limos showing up takeover, but, just a good number to where, oh crap, this is a good sizable group that, if we don't unite, they're going to F us up. But for me, the group that I would have kept would have been Hogan, of course. You had to, and you had to have Hall and Nash because that was the, blueprint. I like the whole Randy Savage coming in, because of his alliance with Hogan in the past and stuff. I like the whole X-Pac coming in because of his alliance with Hall and Nash.
Okay.
That puts me at what, 5, I think it is.
Yeah, you got 2 more.
So 2 more. I would probably go with a Swerve and go like a Buff Bagwell because, that's somebody you've stolen from their company. Plus, he's a guy that can work mid-card and under. And then after that, honestly and truthfully, I don't know who I go for. It's kind of up in the air. But whoever I would go for, I would still want it to be a WWF guy. Just because I want to keep it mostly WWF, but have that one steal from WCW being Buff. And then, of course, I would have never brought Bischoff in, and I would have let the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, be the one funding the NWO and their takeover of the, whole thing.
I thought that's what he was, though. I thought his whole gimmick was he was the finance.
He was there, but they had him on TV for like a week, and then he was gone for a month, and they'd bring him back for a week and sit him in the audience. They never really explained what he was doing, other than
what legitimately happened is he just disagreed with that, and he was getting deeper into his faith, so he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where he started managing the Steiner brothers.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. And then because that's about the time that Scott turned.
Exactly.
Went to the NWO. Yeah.
And and it's so funny that all of us have that same close design. And I will use this group as the perfect example. Aces and Eights in TNA. They had about 6, 7, maybe at most 8 guys. And it made it just enough where your main superstars could get jumped. Then everybody else would try to rush in to help. They would leave. Then if they knew they were going to jump somebody, one of the main guys again, they would go and pick off the lower class guys to make sure when they beat up the main guy, they didn't have any backup coming in. I love that thought of it. When you have so many people sell out, then that makes your company look like crap. And that's what happened with the NWO for me.
Yes.
Bischoff was the money man. I was like, that's stupid. Why in the world would you have the person that got powerbombed financing these guys? That's dumb. Yep. Then everybody turned every week. Every week you had somebody turning. Dusty turned. Hell, the referees turned. At one point, didn't Mongo Michael's dog turn? I mean,
probably.
I think the Nitro Girls turned at one point, didn't they, or something like that? Like
they can do whatever they wanted to, Bub. I didn't give a rat's ass what they did, honestly. Like I was good with whatever they wanted to do.
And that was the
foreign objects.
They where it hit, instead of making it mean something, they diluted it.
Yeah,
so it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So
funny quick fact. Do you know There's one guy who's been a part of the NWO, the Bullet Club, and the Horsemen. Only one guy has been a member of all those groups.
Jeff Jarrett.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Interesting. So I want to go back for a second, touch back on a thing, and it's something you said, Legend. You said 7. You said 7 is a good number to take over a company. To my point is, if you have 5, you have Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan. You have Scott Hall, who, was
Great.
severely underrated, first and
Yes.
foremost, but also a star and a big guy. You have Kevin Nash, Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, Oz, Big Sexy, whatever you want to call the guy.
His 5
But he-
moves.
Right, but he was a monster, right?
Yes.
And then you throw in, and then I'm piggybacking off my list here. Then you throw in Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. He and his brother ruled the grappling world as a tag team, and now he's this genetic monster who can out muscle anybody. So he's got the best of both worlds. And then you throw in like whoever said the mid card thing with Buff, he could go mid or lower, but he was so charismatic. But he was also still buff. He was still, men wanted to whip his ass and women wanted to touch his ass. So
He was the stuff.
for me, 5 people, those 5 people cover everything you'd ever need in the business. You're going to send a giant out to stop him. Kevin Nash has got him. This is where I disagree with the Macho Man part of it. The Macho Man being a part of the savior of WCW should have been played out better because of Hogan and Savage's history. Yes,
True.
they're friends, but that's the friendship thing. Troy and I don't want to say that. Just think about this in wrestling aspect. Some of the best friends that never turned on each other missed a lot of opportunity to be the biggest money making matches you've ever seen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that, Macho Man selling out and jumping on board with his best friend missed big money stuff because, like I said, you send the Giant, you got Kevin Nash. You send Macho Man after Hogan because of their thing, right? You send Sting after Razor Ramon or Scott Hall. There's those matchups. Then you get down to the little part of it. You send Luger after Scott Steiner. That's the muscle right there, right? You got and then you with Buff, you can send, back in that day, pretty much anybody with Buff.
Disco
that was,
Inferno.
Yeah, sure. I had somebody in mind, but I couldn't remember if they were still there or not. But I don't think Alex Wright was still there, was he? He was long gone after that, right?
Yeah. No, he was still there.
Alex Wright or
because he turned into Berlin.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. So to me, the matchups were missed because they turned so many people. But for me, like I said, the Hogan Macho Man thing, Macho Man and Sting being the saviors and staying the saviors and continuously getting beat. Because in this business, the babyface is Chase. And that's all I'm going to say, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The babyface Chase. Chase.
Where the money is.
Let me put this point out there. I understand what you're saying. I think you're 1,000% right. But, and you know this, you and Troy know this being wrestlers. When you have a group and you have your layered top guy, you always have to have 1 or 2 people that takes falls. You cannot look so dominant that it looks like there is never a way we can beat you. You got to have those guys who are going to be your fall guys with the name. Hey, he's an NWO guy. I beat him. Now I can challenge Hogan. And that's where my argument of 7 to 8, and I think I'm not meaning to speak for J-Mac, but just saying that is always good because you can save the big pins for pay-per-views, but for regular shows or trying to get at someone, you have someone in your group that is you're the pin guy. Love you, you like a brother, but go out there and get pinned. Do your job.
Your finisher is looking at the lights.
Yeah,
But okay, so
exactly.
I'll agree with you, Bear. Thanks, Uncle Slam. That's a Bobby Blaze theft there. But I agree with you, and this is where I will agree with you, and then kind of pull in my other idea. That's where that six X-Pac guy comes in. X-Pac can be your fall guy. Buff could be your fall guy every once in a while, right?
Okay.
So
Right.
you beat six for X-Pac, and then you finally get to beat another person, and that's Buff, and that's when the other money starts to flow down, right? That's when Hogan's like, all right, well, shit, we got to get involved. Nash is like, shit, we got to get involved, and that's what you're talking about. You get to those pay-per-views, and then they get those chances with the bigger guys. So I agree with you. So your format works, and I feel like mine does too, because
Yeah, it does.
you have that X-Pac guy that can be the fall guy, and even Buff occasionally. You don't bury Buff, and don't even bury Six.
No.
But definitely
yeah.
give him a loss. No, I agree with you completely. Yeah, if in wrestling, if babyface chase is the thing that I've been taught since day one, but babyface has to at least catch up every once in a while, or the people are not going to give a crap anymore.
Right.
I feel like that's why they've done Brock Lesnar an injustice his whole career, because he's been this friggin' monster. He's just never been. He's never had to chase shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not chased anything. I feel like that's why Cody Rhodes is so great right now, because he chased Roman Reigns for a year and a half. You have those guys, and Barry, you're right on the head with you. I agree with you completely. You're a Hall of Famer for a reason. I completely agree with you. But Six, I feel like Six could be that guy. That's that sixth guy for me. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you completely. You're right on. You're right on the head there, brother.
My theory with so many people came based off of what I was going to add on, because this is something that I heard a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of, I think I brought it up with Uncle Slam. I don't think it was on air, but it kind of intrigued me, because it was like, wow, that's a big what if. So there was I guess there were talks going on, and I'm sure everybody's heard it, that right around the Montreal time and stuff and everything, the screw job time, it was Sean who was actually thinking about going to WCW for a little bit, because of Nash and Hall and all of them in his ear and stuff and everything. Well, the theory was that that was going to be their way of actually turning Hogan back quicker than what they did. Well, and Hogan was going to come back, turn, and help Sting finally vanquish the NWO for good. But the whole concept was going to be that Shawn comes in as a member of the NWO, and then a month down the line or something, he's not liking the direction that Hogan's given the NWO. So you start to see the Rock type of underlying stuff with the Nation of Domination stuff, like where he was rolling his eyes during interviews, and just stuff like that. You see that starting to come to the surface, and then one Nitro, boom, Shawn super kicks Hogan. Hogan is back good. Nash and Hall and them are going to back Shawn because that's their boy, and Shawn takes over as the leader of the NWO. I was like, now that could work, because then you could, trim the fat, of the people, kind of like they did once they came to the WWE and they kicked Big Show out, and Shawn just, boom, you're done, you're out. They could have done that in WCW had he went. I think that could have prolonged, and as I know, it's blasphemy for me to say that Shawn Michaels leave WWE, but because I don't ever want to think about that. But I think had that happened, one, I don't think we'd be talking about WWF. Two, I think that could have prolonged NWO for a lot longer.
So let me give you a spin on that, because I totally disagree respectfully.
Okay.
Keep in mind Shawn's mentality back then, mixed with WCW's non-control of their people.
Right.
Ooh.
It'd have been bad.
I don't think that I don't think Sean would have been around long enough to even get to the point that you just made. Had Sean had a better head on his shoulders then, sure, I could definitely see that. But there was no control in WCW. That's why they were hand over fist losing their ass. And then you give people like Hogan, who was an egomaniac, creative control.
Yeah.
Sean was that guy too. Self-admittedly, but he said that he was not in a good place. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, like Uncle Slam said earlier. So, but I don't think that he would have made it. I just don't. I think that he'd have got there, got an even bigger head, if that's even possible, at that time, and the wheels would have fell off way sooner. So, yes, had he had a level head, I think that theory is spot on. Knowing what we know about Sean and how he was then, I think the damn wheels would have fell off and the 83 weeks would never happen and the NWO would have been an afterthought. That's just my thought. I could be completely wrong, but
I never factored in the whole mentality of where he was there when I heard that. I was just thinking, oh, Shawn Michaels, NWO. I'm picturing it in my head, and when you're thinking about what just goes on in the ring, that's one thing. But you got to factor in the behind the scenes stuff too.
Yeah, and even with a guy like Sean and the ego, like that he wasn't going to go in there and just be like, whatever you guys need me to do, whatever, like
right. I'll job to anybody.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. No. I mean, he kicked Stan. This is who we're talking about, right? Shawn Michaels kicked Stan. So, he wasn't going to go in there and just be like, I appreciate the opportunity. He was going to be like, I am the opportunity. I am the wrestling, right, Troy? That's how he was going to go in there and do that. So I don't know. And you got to factor in those things. You have to, like,
yes, you do.
Yeah.
The way Hogan reacted to stuff was not always favorable, or any of them really.
Honestly, I think this. No matter who you would have brought in, let's say they hadn't even let their size balloon up like they did. The major problem was Eric Bischoff became one of the boys.
Yeah.
If Bischoff would have been the boss and stayed his ass out of the main scene, it may have worked. I think especially now looking back at a lot of different things, the most common theme is letting the inmates run the asylum. If you want to have a top-notch wrestling organization, you have to be put down, I'm the boss. If you don't like it here, get the hell on. I'm the final say-so of any product.
That's it.
As much as most people dislike Vince McMahon, the one thing that Vince always let everybody know, even when he took Stone Cold Steve Austin, arguably one of his biggest talents, and when he left, he was like, get the hell on.
Yep.
I am the boss. I'm the alpha and omega. If you do not like it, bye. I can create another.
Yep. The thing my mom always said was too many Chiefs and not enough Indians, or too many Indians, not enough Chiefs.
Chiefs,
Wait, too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Yeah, I had it right the first time. God rest her soul. She'd have kicked me in my face just now. Yeah, too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, and that's the thing, man. Troy and I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
This show is basically what Troy and I do on the road when we're traveling all these hundreds of miles. We're talking about what ifs and this and that, and me and Troy talk about it all the time, and he can tell you probably better than I can because I'm falling asleep at the wheel. But when we're driving, consistency, right?
Yeah.
Like
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want you to.
Yeah, like if everyone, like you said, too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, or whichever the saying was. If Sean or any of those guys did go, I don't think anyone would be on the same page. So, they want to be the guy. And I think it would have fell through because no one was going to do it. I mean, was it SummerSlam? Was it Hogan and Michaels in WWE? They didn't get along. So
I
look
was
what it
getting ready
did.
to say, yeah.
They did that, oh, I'll take something and I'll make you look stupid. That would have been WCW, and that's not what people wanted to see. They wanted to see people, they wanted to go again. They wanted competition against WWE, and if WWE was doing good stuff at the time, and they switched to WCW, and you see Michaels and Hogan and all them, not on the same page consistently every single week, then it wouldn't have worked.
And you think about this, Troy, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this, but it happens on the independent scene a lot now, and it would have been then too. You get a guy that gets in control somewhere, and he gets a hold of the pencil, and he's penciling his friends, and then wrestling promotions suffer because you're bringing in your buddies, or you're putting your buddies over for the good of yourself. You're selfishly doing that, not for the good of the company, but for the good of yourself and your buddies. And Sean, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, the Click, who knows what have brought Triple H. Triple H could have been over there too. And I just felt like it would have been a whole cluster, because then you have egomaniacs in control of the pencil. And for those who don't know, I'm talking about the creative part of the business.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's a cluster. Then no one cares about the business anymore. They don't care about the good of the it's all about the entertainment then, and which is Bobby. Every time you hear Bobby go entertainment, he goes, I don't want to say that. He hates it. So it's not about the story or the psychology or anything like that. It's about yourself and what can you do to make yourself look great, and I don't know. Sean and WCW, just I don't feel like they were a thing, because, and I know you too. You got the Sean and Brett argument going on. I love it, and I love it. But like Brett, they mishandled Brett, but Brett also,
yeah, definitely.
but also Brett was Brett.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, like, his ego might have played into that crap too, because we're finding out later in life now, Brett was a little bit of an egomaniac.
Yeah.
As great as he is or was, he was a little bit of an egomaniac.
Yeah.
So
I think they all want to be number one. So like you kind of have to be like an ego, like everybody wants to be the number one guy and shit, or they want to be the man. So you kind of have to think that you are, you kind of have to think that you are the best. You know what I'm saying, to a certain extent. And I think some people believe it like a little bit more than others or whatever, or they try to live it and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think Sean and Brett were kind of one of those people. They thought that they were the shit and nobody else was better than them. And they were both great workers and shit. It's just only one person can be number one. Like you can't have two number ones. Obviously, we see what happens now in wrestling when you have two champs. It just doesn't really work as well.
Multiple champions, you got to tell two stories in one. So yeah,
for me, I feel like, but that's just wrestling. And you can see it throughout history when, like, look at Mid-South when Bill Watts he booked for himself because he was the only one he trusted. Because he saw what happened when he gave that love to the Junkyard Dog and he left. And he was like, oh, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'll just book myself. I get you so far. And I think that wrestling has so much, is ego driven.
Yes.
Most of your top talent always have ego. It's the mid-carders and the guys who do it for the love of it. And I think you can tell a big difference. Now, I never wrestled, but I've watched enough wrestling where I think I can see where when people are just, hey, this is me. I'm number one. I get the head show. I'm the main event. I'm not doing the first. I'm not doing mid-card. If I ain't main event, I ain't doing nothing. That's ego.
Oh yeah.
It's not team driven.
It don't work for me.
That don't work for me, brother.
It is ego. It's pure ego.
Yeah.
So,
but sorry, I wanted to throw this out here to Bear's point. He's right on the head as always. But like, for me, then there's the guys that like Edge, who is, and I will fight anybody in this room that wants to disagree with me. I'll fight you right up to your face. I'll get my butt whipped, but I'll fight you. Edge is a main event guy. Edge is a star. Edge is a number one guy, period. But you've never heard anybody say Edge is a prick.
Right.
Edge is a prick.
Matt Hardy.
Well, yeah, that's because he was playing his
He got you there. He got you
I
there.
mean, I'd say Jeff would
Matt Hardy's
probably
a prick
back that
too,
up.
though. Matt Hardy's a prick too, I hear. But I'm just kidding. I don't know about it. But that's what I'm saying though. Like that was in the business in the business of wrestling. That was a shoot real life thing, and you're right, Bear. But like in shoot in real life,
Right.
in business, no one says anything about Edge. Now I'm about to show my colors. I love Stone Cold. You can't tell me he's not the greatest. He should be the number one on anybody's Mount Rushmore. But I'm a Stone Cold guy. Stone Cold took his ball and went home historically. So he has a mark on his life. Guys like Edge didn't have marks on their lives. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, yes, main guys have egos. But the real legends in this business, the real holy shit, that guy was top tier. They don't have the egos, and that's why they are who they are. Edge took he take 9 years off because of his neck.
Yep.
And then he came back, and the pop
His leg.
The pop in the Rumble when he came back is one of the reasons I'm in the ring right now. I was already training. I think we were already training in Troy. We was wrestling, right? Still at that point, but it's what kept me because I seen that pop and I was like, man, I can't. It gave me goosebumps just now talking about it. Like I'm gonna do the Rock thing. It gave me goosebumps. It still does. But he done it without an ego. He done it banging other people's girlfriends, but he done it without an ego. Whatever.
And another person, since you bring it up, just people that you never hear anyone talk bad about. Sting. I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about Sting.
And that's even with him having the same kind of issues that Sean had.
Yep.
Yeah.
With pills and stuff and everything.
Even on top of the time Sting got his ass handed to him by Dick Slater.
Yep.
You still don't hear anything bad about Sting.
No.
So let me ask y'all this. And another kind of what if before we start wrapping this up. So, in WCW at the time, they were spotlighting the cruiserweight division, but they were doing it in a mid-card and lower status.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the famous Jim Cornette line of the main event between Hogan and Piper, where they were so winded that people in first 10 rows were passing out from a lack of oxygen because Hogan and Piper were so gassed. I love Jim Cornette and some of the things he says. But so, you had those two varying styles. Which was just the slow-paced, old school, Hulk Hogan and Piper. And then you had the high-speed, cruiserweight division. Do you think, had you transported a Shawn and Brett at that time from WWE to WCW, because they weren't exactly cruiserweight, but they weren't exactly heavyweight slow paced either, do you think they would have just been lost in the shuffle, kind of like Jericho and Benoit and all the rest of them, just because of that fact? Because they weren't exactly old school, but they weren't exactly what the luchadors are doing either.
Well, when I think luchadors or cruiserweights, I think of high flyers, quick moves, jumping off the ropes, and that's not really Brett and Shawn Michaels style or whatever, honestly.
No, but they were more high flying than Piper and Hogan and them.
Yeah.
They were kind of like that hybrid between.
Yeah, but they would come off the rope, but it wasn't like they were doing, moonsaults or any shit like. Well, Sean could or whatever, but you wouldn't see Brett or anything. But
right, you wouldn't see Brett do nothing to entertain the fans.
Oh, shut.
Not at all. Not at all. Unless it's interviews nowadays, shitting on everybody. That's the thing he does to entertain anybody.
But Yeah, and of course, Sean did some elbows off the top rope or whatever, but as far as high flying, that was his biggest high flying, honestly. Like I said, I just don't see him as a cruiserweight. Could he have been one if he wanted to? Maybe. Brett just was too technical. Like, he wasn't that high flying. So I don't think they would have matched too well with the whole cruiserweight. In just my opinion. Like, when I think cruiserweight, I think about, X-Pac, Six.
No. I'm saying, would they have been lost in the shuffle because they weren't cruiserweight, but they weren't heavyweight either?
I think stars are still going to be stars. I don't think they would have been as cruiserweight, but I think they would eventually work their way up. But like I said,
I understand what you're saying. You're saying he's not saying that they had to fall under heavyweight or cruiserweight.
Yeah.
What he's saying is that
Their style.
they have still been able to take over the top spot.
Okay, to be a star
in WCW.
I think they still would have. Like I said, I think they still could have. I think it would have been different though, just because Vince is different from Eric Bischoff. I think as far as ideas and the way he does, certain people. So I think they would eventually got there. I don't know if they would have got as fast as they did before, but I think the cream still would have rise to the top. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, I think they still would have eventually been the stars. It might have took them a little bit longer.
I agree. And let's be honest, Sean wasn't leaving unless he'd got a guarantee to be a world champion or something like that. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they would have get lost in the shuffle at all. I think they still would have been Brett and Sean.
I think they would have found the spot.
Yeah, definitely. And especially coming off of the Montreal screw job and having those two guys in an unhinged company, it'd have made money. For a minute until all the, until cocaine kicked in, where it's a hell of a drug, and then it all went screwed up.
Or wore off.
Or until a referee counted a 3 count that he wasn't supposed to count, or he might have been supposed to count.
Yeah.
And
what you got, Troy?
Somebody didn't have enough of a tan. And
I just love old school wrestling.
I just love old school wrestling. Listen, that's the greatest thing. We had this kid. We took his kid to TV with us last night, and we told him in the truck. We was like, when you introduce yourself, don't say your name, don't say crap. When people talk to you all night long, just say, I love old school wrestling. Don't say anything else but that. He wouldn't do it. We was trying to get him to rib everybody. He wouldn't do it. He's not been in the business very long, but he wouldn't do it. But yeah.
I think that if they would have went to WCW, it wouldn't have been good, because you still had the Hogans, the Nash, my guaranteed contract. I have creative control. And when you have people who sit on top, and this is an old school mentality. I'm up top. I'm not letting that go for nothing. I don't care if my kid has a kid in a car accident. Look, when you lose that top spot, it's hard to get it back. So I think it wouldn't have worked out good for them. I think it would have burnt them out, where they would have. You see what Brett is now.
Mm-hmm.
You see the bitterness in Brett.
Bitter Bret Hart.
And
I don't know what y'all talking about.
For everything I love for Bret Hart, I hate that he can't let it go. It's just like me sitting here telling y'all, when I was playing 4th grade kickball and I was safe, and they called me out, and just keep yelling at that same teacher over and over and over again.
Mrs. Goldberg.
He ruined my kickball career.
Mrs. Goldberg.
It was freaking Jill Goldberg.
It was Jill Goldberg.
Like I said, my algorithm must show something completely different than y'all's, because I don't get none of those feeds in my clip or whatever. Like, I don't see none of that stuff.
No, he's got them ones where Bret Hart's skipping through daisies up in Montreal and stuff.
I got where people are like, Bret's so great, man. He taught me this. He taught, Mark Henry's like, yeah, Bret Hart's this, and Stone Cold's like, yeah, my best matches were Bret Hart. I ain't seen none of this angry Bret y'all talk about. It must be a different.
You're right. You're 100% right. Everybody else say that. But then Bret goes, oh my God.
He buried himself. He buries himself.
Yeah. Stone Cold will talk about that I Quit match, talk about one of his best matches. Exactly. And then Bret will be like, I called everything. I didn't let that little son of a bitch call nothing. I did all that.
Look, you didn't even give him credit. Yeah, you called it. But see, what happened was I saw Bill Goldberg walking in the building.
I saw Bill Goldberg bought the same kind of car I did when I went to the parking lot. And that son,
Everything is Bill Goldberg's fault.
Interviewers like, yeah, I heard you do drawings and stuff, Brett. Yeah, man, everybody in the back loves my drawings. My drawings are better than Sean's. Sean just does stick figures on the wall. I do actual caricatures and stuff. And
Brett's like, if they'd have let me done the Montreal screw job, it'd have been a lot better. I'd have come up with a better idea.
Right.
I'd have really screwed me. If they'd have let me screw me, I'd have screwed me better than all of them.
See, this is just a bunch of haters here. See how this evolved into just a lynching of poor Bret Hart here and shit. You know what I'm saying?
You think Legend didn't pay me and Troy to come over here and bust your balls?
Oh yeah, of course. He probably slid y'all some notes over here and was like, here's some talking points here. I'll lead you into this.
If there's one thing I need in this business or don't need in this business, it's help talking shit. I do that better than anybody in this business. I promise you.
Hey, don't forget to send me notes. Don't forget after the show to send me y'all's cash apps. Y'all know what I mean,
worry, brother. Don't you worry. You worry, Bill Goldberg. I got it.
All right, so I got one more question for everybody, and then I'll let everybody get out of here and everything. I asked this to Uncle Slam the other night, and I never thought about it, but I heard it on another show, and it kind of fits for this because of the whole NWO and him being a part of both. But somebody brought it. I can't remember who it was either. It was a wrestler. It was on a podcast that I heard it, but somebody brought up the point that not a lot of people give him credit, but X-Pac deserves a lot of credit for turning the tide in the Monday Night Wars. Now, Uncle Slam, now don't let me misspeak, but you disagreed with that, correct?
Yeah. Like I didn't see that. I didn't see where you got he turned the tide. Honestly, like I said, I don't know. Like, so you got to explain that.
He said he just seemed like another mid-card dude to me, man.
Yeah, I mean that's what I really saw. I mean, besides going after the cruiserweight, titles and shit, I didn't really see the effect. Honestly, I mean, like maybe y'all can explain it to me or whatever.
Right, I'm interested to see what everybody else has to say about that. He
loves the mid-card guy. He's a Bret Hart guy, so he loves the mid-card.
I mean, we did crown him the greatest intercontinental champion of all time.
So true.
Strongly
not the greatest world, intercontinental mid-card.
That's all right. That's all right.
Disagree.
That's all right. Like, you're allowed to be wrong, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said,
I disagree with you too, Brox. I disagree too because Sean's greatest of all time.
I disagree with you too. I strongly
disagree in any category.
I strongly disagree with both of you, respectfully. That's another subject, but it's okay to be wrong. I've never done it. I'm going to try it one day, but it's never happened yet.
You're wrong that you bringing people in that are going to beat me. So it's coming soon. It's coming.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Did you hear my? Did you hear my question, Professor Bear?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so my question was, I heard this on the podcast a few days ago and everything, and it was talking about X-Pac and the impact he had on the Monday Night Wars when he left the NWO and WCW and went back to WWE and joined DX the day after WrestleMania when Shawn had to retire.
Right.
Uncle Slam doesn't see that was an impactful thing. Brox has agreed that it is, but he hasn't gotten to why yet. But that was the question about X-Pac.
Okay, so I'm gonna let
yeah, we'll let you finish. We'll let you finish, Brox. Go ahead.
So for me, it goes back to, so Scott Hall, Kevin Nash show up on WCW television. Holy crap, it's an NWO takeover, right? He does his run with WCW. Six does, Scott Hall, or Six, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him. Makes his run, and then he goes back to WWE, gets an opportunity, and you're disagreeing that he didn't turn the Monday Night War. He didn't turn the Monday Night Wars. Is that what you're saying? He didn't help do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't see Yeah, yeah.
So-
like I don't see the impact that he brought.
So you don't think? Do you agree that seeing Kevin Hall and golly, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall on WCW television? I'm dyslexic, guys. Do you agree that seeing the Outsiders on WCW television helped turn the Monday Night Wars?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So and you agree that Six was I don't want to say a vital part, but a very strong part of NWO because he was one of the original guys. You don't think he is? Okay.
No, I mean, like he was the sixth member. That's why they named him Six. Like,
right.
I just.
So he's a founding member. He's a founding member to me, right?
To me, founding member is Hogan, Hall, Nash. Just those three.
Okay.
To me.
But he's part of the clique. Keep in mind this. He's also part of the clique, which is, 2/3 of the whole, the whole original founding member there, right? Okay. So here we are. So you agree that Scott Hall, Kevin Nash helped the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
You don't agree that Six had anything to do with NWO being successful. Okay.
No, I just see like him as a mid-carder. Like I said, that's just.
Okay. So now you agree but you disagree that he doesn't help turn. I do, because here's what he does. He goes back to WWE. Holy crap! Here's a guy that was in NWO, and fans see him as a big member of the NWO because they know that he's with Kevin, he's with Scott, so we see that. So as fans, we see it and go, well, I'm gonna go over and see what X-Pac's going to do because cocaine's a hell of a drug and we all know he's on it. So let's go see what he's going to do, right? But then what's he do? Then what's he do once he gets to WWE?
He shoots.
He joins. He joins arguably a top 3 faction of all time. After he just came away from arguably the top faction of all time.
Yeah, he's been into 2 of the top factions in probably history. Yeah,
so
top 3, I would say, something like that.
So you don't think that him going into DX, which was already established, and everybody know who his X-Pac is, you don't think that helps turn at least a little bit at this guy who beat Razor Ramon as a 1, 2, 3 kid, who jumped ship and told Vince McMahon to lick his nuts, and went over there and jumped on NWO, come over here, jumped on DX. It's after 11, I can say that. I'm seeing J Mac looking at the time.
No. I was looking at my calendar.
He jumps over and joins arguably one of the best factions ever. People are going to be like, okay, well, if this guy was NWO, what's he going to do over here with this other faction that's already established? I mean, to me, it's like putting Goldberg in DX. I'm just kidding. That was just a parting shot at Bret Hart. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just see him as like if you took X-Pac out of, let's say, NWO, or you took him out of DX and you put anybody else in, it would have been almost the same to me. Like, I don't think he was that crucial. Now, like when you take Shawn out of, say, we're talking about DX, Shawn, China, or Hunter, Road Dogg, them, Billy Gunn, different story. NWO, if you took Hall, Nash, Hogan, you can't replace those with anybody else. I think if you took X-Pac out, you put somebody else in there, and to me, I don't think you really missed much of a beat. That's just my opinion. Like I said,
what about the backstage portion of it? If they're part of the clique and they're all friends, they talk.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what these people are doing. We should try this.
The other thing too is, good point, Troy. But the other thing too is, I think you saying taking Six or X-Pac out of the NWO is an unfair point because there was 90. Dennis Rodman was in the friggin' NWO, so like I'm just saying, like, fair point to. It's not a fair point for me because you can take anybody out of the NWO and it doesn't make a point. We took out Mongo McMichael's dog. Oh my God, they're going to fold, right? Everybody was in it, so taking X-Pac out of NWO, whatever. You take them all out. You take him out of DX though, he is edgy. He is what DX was. His whole career, his whole life is what DX is. We're not going to do what you tell us what to do. And what did he do? His first match on TV, what did he do? Ever.
Crotch
He
chop.
beat Razor Ramon. And DX's whole mantra was, you can't tell us what to do. You can't tell us what to wear. I'll sing the whole song. and that's what X-Pac was. So I feel like you take him out, there's an impact, especially
I
because
think
Sean wasn't a part of it then.
he was a little more, in my opinion, he was a little more impactful in DX, and I say NWO, but I still think you could have took him out and it wouldn't have made that much of a deal. But like I said, that's just me. But like, I don't have anything against him, but I don't know. Like I said, I just wasn't a huge fan of him. Like I said, I liked everybody else just a little bit more. So I mean,
So, not to interrupt, but let me help Brock with the point.
okay.
And this should be very simple. How many guys did you see join the NWO? You saw a ton of them, right?
735.
I think my grandma's still a member.
But in the turn, you didn't see a lot of NWO guys join DX.
True.
And that's where the difference was made, because it was our first time seeing someone leave the hottest group in the world, arguably, to go to this group and say he'd rather be in this group versus that group. And they was number one.
So does that mean DX is the hotter group, actually?
No.
No. I'm saying it gives that perception.
Right, exactly. My point exactly. So it was a giant deal because we had not seen anyone leave NWO to go to WWE and to join DX, which everybody knew DX was crazy. And on top of that, this is a shift in the philosophy of DX, because it went from just 3 to 4, 5, 6. And that's where the impact comes from. And it's significant because you didn't see a lot of that. You didn't see anybody else join DX lit. If they left WCW, they didn't have nothing to do with DX because they wouldn't let them in.
DX was a more exclusive club. I agree.
Yeah, but wasn't that because he was already part of the clique to start with or whatever? So it was easier for him to kind of slide into DX or whatever because he was already buddies with Triple H, Hunter, and Sean.
But the point is, it's not why he's there, it's the perception. And the perception is we won't let just anybody in our group. You have to be something. X-Pac is something.
I see what you're saying. I don't agree totally, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to say you have to agree, but I'm just saying to make Brock's point.
I see why you're saying what you're saying. Like I said, I still don't agree, but I see why you say that or whatever, right. or see why y'all think that way or whatever.
Right. And then another fun fact: who was the other member? Who was the other person that was a part of DX and NWO?
DX.
Shawn Michaels?
Yes.
No. The first.
No. And not him.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
Rick Rude, yep. That's
right. He showed up on both shows.
Yes, because he was still, Oh, yeah, he still had taped the episode.
The night every wrestling fan's head exploded. I was like, what is going on here? Okay, so let me ask you this, Uncle Slam, before we get out of here. I know I keep saying it. It's been a good episode. That's why, I hate to shut these down because we're having a good discussion and everything. So you said that you don't see him being that impactful.
Yeah.
Who do you take if you say you take him completely out of the equation? He never joins the NWO. He never joins DX.
Put in place of him?
In place that for him, that's going to take the same spot in both groups.
Not my spot. Not my dog spot.
Not my liver spot. My spot.
That's a good question.
Throw in 4s up there.
who would I throw in place of X-Pac?
Who do you transport that's going to cover the exact, because he didn't change who he was. He just changed his name.
Yeah. I might have to think on that for a while.
I think that right there is his impact. Is there is nobody else who could have filled that role, because he was that bridge between WCW and WWE that was a member of the clique. He bridged that gap between Hunter and Sean and Kevin and Scott.
I thought for sure Slam was going to say Bret Hart. I was about to leave this damn thing.
Bret Hart? Yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
Thank you.
crotch chopping.
Look, a wise man right here. Like, I knew eventually you get
Could
it.
you imagine?
Like, you would get
I'm a
the right answer.
degenerate now.
Could you imagine?
Bill Goldberg, I got two.
Yeah. Thanks, Ian.
Hey,
I got 2 words for you.
I would have been okay with that.
I'm sure you would have.
My neck.
You know, Brett's listening to this right now. You know he's going to hear this. I just want to let y'all know.
Look, hey,
Yeah.
I hope he is, because Brett, as a fan of yours, I would love to give you some advice, my friend. You have such an amazing, beautiful wife. You have
don't he?
grandkids.
She's hot. Yeah. Oh,
You have a great family. Stop being bitter and let the past go, my friend. Let it go. There was a reason why God let Bill Goldberg kick your head off. We will never ever know why, but take your blessings that you get to spend with your family, and stop ruining your career, because that's all you're doing now at this point.
I think y'all just got to switch up y'all search engine or some shit. Like I said, here, I can show y'all my computer. It's totally different. Like, I don't get none of that stuff. Like, maybe y'all need to change your filters or search, something else. I can help you with that.
Google the real Bret Hart, and then you will see.
Hey, I've looked up plenty of Bret Hart. It don't show up over here.
His Google's on safe search.
Stop putting a heart beside a Brett's name whenever you search.
Hey, it's the Hart Foundation. That's just the way it's spelled. I
heart Bret Hart. That's his search.
And the bad thing about it is he doesn't even use the red heart. He searches the pink one out.
What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know, man. I don't know that I can think of anybody that fills that role the same way, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And the stories and things that have happened are the way they are, we can what if it to death,
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it too, is getting to sit and throw these theories out there of the what ifs, I think that overall, though, the NWO, like y'all touched on at the beginning of the show, here we are 30 years later, and we're still talking about the NWO, that's right, for life, I mean, too sweet. There's a reason why this was stolen by the Bullet Club. I mean, there's a reason why I take pictures with it. I throw it up. Too sweet, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, they definitely had a cultural impact for me. Just the whole Hogan turn itself was, I don't want to say traumatic, and downplay anybody's actual trauma, but it was very, I guess it made it more real.
It was mainstream news. I mean, it was a mainstream media. They had this on papers and shit. Like, it wasn't just wrestling. Like, it was in the newspaper and shit.
Right. And it was just like, the wrestling world I knew at that point got rocked and it got turned upside down. And as a fan of what it wasn't what I thought it was anymore. So it was like this all new thing I was going into. So, I mean, to me, that's what the NWO was. I guess it just signified a reset in the wrestling business for me to be able to start enjoying it again after I had my, little teenage years. I'll let you all give y'all's parting thoughts and everything on the NWO. Whoever wants to go first,
Here, I'll shoot first. Go ahead. To me, I'll kind of touch on what you had to say. Legend, whatever. Like the New World Order. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a New World Order. Like it was something new. It was something fresh. It was something that they hadn't really done before, and I don't think they really can get it right since. You know, I mean, there have been other invasions angles since then, but like none of them were done like the NWO. You know, it wasn't it didn't hit you the same way because I mean, kind of like Brock said, like I thought it was real. Like I thought it was real. Like you didn't know, there's it really blurred the lines. So I mean, to me, I mean that's what I kind of take away from it is just like it changed the way wrestling was. It made a new world order where where you had bigger stars, you had to do better. You had to come up with be more creative. You had to be more competitive to last in wrestling. So I think that it was definitely a good thing for wrestling, and maybe we'll have something in the future like it, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I agree. There'll never be another NWO. It shaped the Attitude Era. It shaped childhoods. It rocked the perception of Hogan. It shaped so many things that we're still doing today. And people have spent the last forever trying to find that same lightning bolt and to put it in a bottle and ride it again. Same thing with Stone Cold. Like he rose so fast, so quick that that's things like that don't happen, and there'll never be another NWO. You'll never find something like that again. But we're also living in a different time where dirt sheets have ruined wrestling. But that's an argument for another show. But there'll never be another NWO.
Nah.
I think it has shaped so many things that we love about wrestling now that it could be argued to the best as the greatest faction of all time. With the watered down taste of having my dog who just left my room is still a member of the NWO. So that's the watered down part of it. But legitimately, as watered down as it was, 30 years later, we're still talking about it, guys. So it was probably just, again, it is absolutely for life. Absolutely. So
Yeah, I think it's iconic. Often imitated, would never be duplicated.
For sure.
Amen.
that little cameo was by Bay Boulder, by the way. She will tell you
Boulder.
that is Little Miss Bay Boulder. She'll tell you that she's a bigger star than Brock's Boulder for sure. She is, by the way. She's a much bigger star than I am. She's yes. So.
We'll give the bear a second to get back here so he can give his final thoughts on it.
The Bears has done this. He's answered the phone a couple times. Do you guys watch football at all? Like, do you guys know who Adam Schefter is?
Oh yeah.
I feel like Bear's the Adam Schefter of wrestling. Like he just stepped away to take a phone call. He just stepped away to take a phone call, and it was from probably John Cena. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was
actually.
Back. I have to tell you the truth. It was actually from the person that named me Bear.
Oh, okay.
My daughter.
I got you.
Oh, there you go.
That was my daughter that done a little cameo here. That's why you were off camera. That's what I told the boys. That's little Miss Bay Boulder. She'll tell you she's Bay Boulder and she's a star.
My daughter's nickname is Bear as well.
Great name. So my thoughts on the NWO, like anything else in wrestling history, there's a time and a place. It's like you catch lightning in a bottle and you ride it for as long as you can. The NWO will be a point because let's be real. That is not the first time that a wrestling company has used the gimmick of being invaded by another company. It's an old technique. But just on that particular day, on that particular time, everything lined up perfectly. And a leg drop started something that we still talk about to this day. And what I love about wrestling is no matter where you are in the world, I've talked to people in Africa, New Zealand, Australia. I've talked to in the UK, Canada. I've talked to all these different people and generally would never have any relationship with them. But the one thing that brings us together is a leg drop. Because no matter what, whether you wasn't born then, you were born then, you can tell people where you were when you first saw the turn.
It's. I tell people all the time, Hulk Hogan's the only person I know of that started two movements off a leg drop. NWO and Hulkamania. One of the worst finishing moves ever.
Man,
True.
Terrible.
Terrible.
That, the worm, what else was it? People's elbow and five knuckle shuffle. What was it? I believe you said it one time, Brox, that Bobby Blaze said he ain't laying there.
Yeah,
And
he tells us Troy tell you, he tells us all the time.
Yeah.
in training, I'm not gonna lay there and let you jump over me twice and drop that stupid shit on me. I ain't doing that. He says,
I
he's
can't
so
even.
mad.
Look. I can't even lie. As much as I dislike Hogan, enough money make my fat ass lay right there.
right, I ain't gonna lie.
Well, if you
I will-
remember in Rock's Hall of Fame induction speech when he inducted his dad and his family, he said he was talking about Stone Cold and him doing their match, and he was like, "You want me to lay there and take what? That stupid shit again?" And he was talking about Austin taking the people's elbow. Bobby says the same thing, but Barry, you're right. Back then, hell, if I'm not a huge fan of AEW, but Tony Khan calls me and offers me big money, I'll lay there and take all the stupid shit they do. It's fine, whatever. Me and Troy will go up there and we'll take falls. Our finisher will be looking at the lights all day long. We'll catch a check.
Man, I'm telling you what we need to do. Let me be y'all manager so they can be like, how in the hell the manager bigger than the guy wrestling?
Oh, damn.
and then you just tell them
That's
it's reverse psycho.
That is unique, and they will kick people's ass, and I'm like, that's the reason why I'm managing.
Oh,
And
he is
there
a
you go.
fan of he is a fan of AEW.
And then you all could go in there because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, they make you change your name and stuff and everything. But y'all could go in there and just your tag team name could be reverse psychology.
I love it.
The big guy on the outside, littler guys on the inside, messing you up.
Let me tell you this quick
I'm still
story.
Robert, by the way. If we
Let
go to
me tell you
AEW, I'm
a
still
quick
Robert.
story. I
Cool.
have to tell you this. So we were at a wrestling match. I was at a show, and these guys were wrestling. And this is my first time meeting Troy. Troy came up to me, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we talked real pleasant and stuff. And me just being the asshole that I am, I'm like, "Okay, so where are the rest of you?" And he looked at me like he was gonna turn my head off.
Wow.
This is all I need, brother.
This is motivation.
And the thing is, why I love Troy so much, even with the look on his face, he realized it was a joke. I didn't mean anything by it. He could turn my old ass all the way around.
Hey.
The great thing about Troy is he's been with me since day one, so he's been trained to take the abuse. He's come a long way as far as taking abuse and giving it back. Like
I figured he would give me one because I'm old and me and you are cool. But I think if I tried another one, he would have had me on the ground. So I'm like, nope.
He might show you his big boot. He might hit you in his chest with it, but he's gonna by God get it up there.
Oh, you'll feel it.
He's gonna get his shit in, I promise.
Y'all ain't right.
It all
Guys, we appreciate y'all being here tonight. I really appreciate. We had some surprise guests. Didn't know we was going to get Professor Bear tonight. It's always a pleasure. Glad we did.
Yeah,
Great
man,
conversation.
come back anytime.
Most definitely. Join us next week. We are going to be having a TV title tournament to determine the greatest world television champion in NWA/WCW history.
That's quick and simple. I can solve that real quick.
Right, Arn Anderson. And not to forget, what is it? Next month on the 27th, I believe it is, we're going to have Brox and Troy back. We are going to be, we've been waiting on this episode for a few months to where everybody's schedules could meet back up again, but we are going to be discussing the greatest heels and what makes a great heel in wrestling. So
I've got hot takes for that one, baby.
I know you do. We've been saving it for you. We've been keeping it on the back burner. You know, a lot of them new burners got that little warming pad and everything back there. We've been keeping it right there for you, man. But
I'll solve greatest heel right now. It's Bear. It's Bear.
There you go.
Ask Troy. Ask Troy. It's Bear.
Yeah, it's Bear.
I'm a tweener.
Oh, that word.
What? Look. As much as I can be an asshole, people still love me. So it just depends on where I'm at.
That's right. That's right. Me and Troy, we were in Beckley, West Virginia last night, and we were not ourselves. Without giving too much away, we were not ourselves. We weren't typical Grappling Inc.
There you go. Sometimes you just got to be somebody else sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, everybody, join us the end of this month. I forgot to put this one in there too. Join us the end of this month. We're going to have former Kentucky independent wrestling referee John Conway on the show. A friend of mine. He's had some tough years, past few years, but he's doing better, and we just want to get him on and, help him get back into the world of wrestling and, let him talk about it a little bit, talk about his experiences and everything. He's done the dance with Rikishi. He's, managed some of the biggest names, Raven. I can't think, Rob Conway, or not managed. I said managed. I meant, refereed their matches. But he's had a few good matches too. So tune in. That'll be the last weekend of this month. We're going to have him on and talk. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. This was a great conversation. I love whenever it just flows like this.
We appreciate you having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Troy and I we're on the road every weekend. Most of the time we'll be in Tennessee, down in Bears area, down in Tazewell. Is it Tazewell? Is that what the city's called?
Tazewell.
Down there for Elevate the end of this month, and then we've been doing Beckley television for the last couple of weeks, and Route 33 in March in Spencer, West Virginia. We got AMW coming up, a couple dates with AMW, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. We're going to Pennsylvania this year. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on this year, and then of course check out Aftermath Pro. That's the promotion that I was able to get off the ground with the help of Troy and all the other guys from our previous place. And we got some cool things coming down the pike for that. We've got our school open, and Bobby Blaze is there, and we're doing some cool things. So we're
awesome.
everywhere.
Yeah,
sounds awesome, man. Sounds like y'all got a lot going on. Professor Barry, you got anything you want to plug?
Just not necessarily plug, but just say thank you for everybody that supports myself and WSN. We are trying to have some amazing things this year. We got a lot planned, a lot of things that I think is going to be special. And I always want to thank y'all for allowing me to come on, and I enjoy just being myself because that's all I can be. And I still to this day don't understand why people enjoy me, but as long as you enjoy me, I will continue to be me. So thank you all.
Well, we appreciate you being here, man. It's always a pleasure, like I said, and of course, Troy, we appreciate this being your first time on, man. You got an open invite. Come on back anytime you want to. And
Absolutely, this was fun. I enjoyed it.
Brock's just kicks the door down and comes on in sometimes.
He knows. He knows. Yeah. That's my wrestling soulmate right there. He knows.
There you go. Guys, we appreciate everybody being here. Don't forget to go like, share, follow, subscribe. I believe that referee has hit that 3 count, so we are going to ring that damn bell.